Jacobs began doing outside consulting while holding down his faculty position at UCSD, and for some of his earliest consulting work, he teamed with his old friend from JPL, Andrew Viterbi, who by then had left Pasadena for a faculty position at UCLA.
Well, we did some consulting projects together, and that's really what got Linkabit started. The original office was on the fringe of the UCLA campus in a very small former dentist's office. We moved it down to the Sorrento Valley in roughly June of 1970.
By 1971, Jacobs had to make a difficult decision: remain at UCSD or take over full-time running of Linkabit, which was jointly founded with Viterbi and another UCLA professor, Leonard Kleinrock. He opted for the career in industry.
I don't believe that people foresaw at that point Linkabit becoming so important and then becoming sold itself, and then him coming back again after that, and with Andy Viterbi co-founding Qualcomm and becoming the success. I think Irwin had no doubt, but I don't think the other faculty member envisioned anything like that.
Irwin, I believe, came on full-time in '71, and I moved down. Things had grown so large, we had all of 40 employees by '73. I felt duty-bound that I had to participate more on a full-time basis as opposed to coming down once a week.
Martha Dennis was an early recruit at Linkabit.
It was really a family affair. One felt like your family belonged there because for sure Irwin's family was there. Irwin had his father employed giving out the coffee, cocoa, and chicken soup, very important part of the diet, and he had his brother-in-law running the factory, and his wife, Joan, would cook up and dish out the hamburgers at the company picnics. Even when there were hundreds of employees, she was still doing it, which was pretty impressive.
Linkabit was profitable from the first year on.
And Linkabit also was able to do the two things in the delivery of video and data that today are multi-billion-dollar businesses. And they came out of the group of scientists at Linkabit, and clearly out of Irwin's leadership and many times out of his personal contribution to those things. And today the business of scrambling over-the-air video signals, and of all those little dishes that you see around the world that send satellite information on the sides of buildings at Linkabit, created that business.
We had given them at Linkabit a contract to build to show that you could actually put a sequential decoder on a chip. And I had no doubt that they would be able to do that, but the reason I mention it is because I believe it put the notion of fabless development into the psyche of all the people that we're dealing with.
Jacobs and Linkabit also played a critical role in extending the precursor of the Internet across the Atlantic Ocean, putting it on the path to becoming a truly World Wide Web.
You all know that there are many, many fathers of the Internet, more than you can count on hands and toes. But Irwin played a very key role in that, and I just wanted to describe that. While he was at Linkabit, I was this is a kind of a flip and rolls, I was building a packet radio system. Nothing that could ever have become commercial, because these were cubic foot. They cost about $300,000 each in today's parlance. Not something you could ever sell. But we wanted to link the European community, and Irwin volunteered to sort of organize and make a packet satellite net real. So he ran a working group that actually formed that. I participated, but I was sort of a member of his working group, even though I was funding the activity. And my one contribution to that, other than at a management level, was doing the international tariffs. Irwin did everything else to make that technically real.
We both went over together to take a tour throughout Europe, visit all the various, what we call PTTs at the time, but the telephone companies, and tell them about packet communications and why they should participate in this project. It varied with the different PTTs how long it would take before they threw us out. Some would serve us lunch, others wouldn't even take that long. Luckily, we did find a few research laboratories and universities that did participate.
That plus the packet radio net and the ARPANET were the three components of the initial internet. So the fact that we had an internet to even experiment with is in large part due to Irwin's help on that.
I think one of the troubles with the universities is they've never seen how theory and practice work hand in glove together. What I love about Irwin is the way that he's always seen this, the way that he's always done it. He doesn't talk about it, but he just naturally figures out how to take a theoretical viewpoint and use it in what he's actually doing.
Linkabit was a place that really bridged the academic industry boundary, which in the 70s was still a boundary. Today it doesn't exist, of course, but you were as likely to see a faculty member, say in communications theory, in an office at Linkabit as you would see him on the UCSD campus. So there was a real path back and forth. And Linkabit was really at the forefront in creating that kind of relationship and utilizing that kind of talent as well.
Linkabit grew 50% a year for 15 years and made money every year.